My freeloading roommate tried to ruin my life, but I beat him with my bat and sent him to jail. The first time I met Ethan, he was chugging milk straight from the carton at 2 a.m. in my kitchen like he owned the place. I should have known right then. But no, I laughed it off, thinking, oh, he's quirky. Big mistake. Ethan was my new roommate, a friend of a friend situation where my buddy Mark vouched for him. He's chill, Mark said. Quiet guy, works from home. You'll barely notice him. Lies. Ethan was a walking disaster. At first, it was the small things. He'd borrow my food without asking. A pack of my frozen dumplings is gone here, and my last granola bar is eaten there. When I confronted him, he grinned like a toddler caught with a crayon and said, oh, I thought those were for us. Us? Bro, I don't even know you like that. Then there were his work calls. I use quotes because no job I've ever had required screaming profanity at 9 a.m. daily. If you can't close this deal, you're worthless, he'd roar, pacing our tiny apartment like a deranged stockbroker in an evil Netflix series. I'd sit in my room, headphones on, praying for mercy. But the boiling point came with the Wi-Fi. I work remotely as a graphic designer, so internet access is non-negotiable. One day, I noticed the connection kept cutting out. After hours on the phone with tech support, I found out why. Ethan had reset the router password, and didn't tell me. Dude, why didn't you tell me you changed the Wi-Fi password ? Quote, I asked, barely containing my frustration. Maybe if you paid more of the rent, I'd consider it, he sneered, leaning back on my couch like he was a king addressing a peasant. I froze. I pay 75% of the rent, and he pays 25% when he remembers to pay it all. From that day on, it was war. I matched every petty thing he did. If he left dishes in the sink, I accidentally put them on his bed. When he left his laundry in the dryer for 3 days, I accidentally spilled soy sauce on it. Things were tense, but I was done letting him walk over me. But Ethan didn't just double down, he went nuclear. One morning, I logged into my work email to find everything gone. My files, my project drafts, all of it deleted. At first, I thought I'd been hacked, but then I saw an email from Ethan on my personal Gmail. Next time, don't touch my stuff. I couldn't believe it. This manchild sabotaged my livelihood out of spite. That's when I decided I wouldn't just fight back, I would ruin him. I called his company's HR under the guise of verifying employment. Ethan wasn't a freelance consultant like he claimed. He was an entry-level customer service rep with a script to read. I recorded one of his infamous work calls, where he called a customer a brain-dead toad with Wi-Fi. I anonymously sent it to his boss and included a note that said, "This guy represents your company?" Finally, Ethan constantly bragged about his street racing skills, so I tracked down his little racing group on Facebook and sent some screenshots to the local PD tip line. The night it all came to a head, Ethan stormed in at midnight, kicking the door open like he was starring in his own action movie. I was on the couch, eating the last of his frozen dumplings, and I barely had time to react. "You think you're funny, huh?" he shouted, eyes wild. "I know it was you." I stood up, the dumpling still in my hand. "Yeah, it was me," I said, tossing the empty dumpling box at his feet. "You deserve every bit of it." He charged like a linebacker. I felt the impact first, a sledgehammer to the ribs. We hit the coffee table, shattering it into splinters. My vision went white hot from the pain. He was on top of me, throwing wild, sloppy punches. I covered my face with one arm and used the other to grab the only weapon I could reach, a shattered table leg. I swung it like Babe Ruth at home plate. Crack! It connected with his shoulder, and he let out a howl like a wounded animal. "Get off me!" I shoved him back, adrenaline surging through my veins. But Ethan wasn't done. He stumbled to his feet, clutching his shoulder. His eyes darted around like a trapped animal. Then, he spotted the kitchen knives. He grabbed a steak knife. "Put it down, Ethan," I said, hands raised, heart thundering in my chest. "You don't want to do this." He lunged. I sidestepped, narrowly avoiding the blade. He slammed into the wall, cursing. I took my chance. I threw myself at him with every ounce of rage I had. My shoulder hit his back like a wrecking ball, and he slammed face first into the wall. I felt him go limp. For a second, I thought it was over. Then, red and blue lights flashed outside the window. 2 officers kicked down the door. I stepped back, hands raised. "Help!" Ethan gasped, still on the floor. "He attacked me. He hit me with a bat." "Sure," I said, pulling out my phone. I played the video I'd been recording the whole time. Ethan's face twisted in horror. The officers exchanged a glance, then turned him over and slapped cuffs on him. They found the knife on the ground. I didn't even have to say a word. Ethan was charged with assault with a deadly weapon. It turns out that those street racing tickets were unpaid, and he is still serving time rotting away.